Good evening, everyone, and welcome back to All About Racing for another new day of league racing, this time with AER, All Elite Racing, for their first stream on the All About Racing YouTube channel. If you are watching this later on an upload for the AER channel, if you want to watch the live streams from next week, it will be on the All About Racing YouTube channel. This is just an upload to the AER channel. So, we're here in Miami, stateside, of course, not for the only time this weekend in Real F1 as well, at the Circuit of the Americas. We were there last night on the channel as well. Round 5 of this Podium division, as I said, here at Miami, 5.25 kilometres and 3.262 miles in length, 19 corners around this circuit. 2 DRS zones, 29 laps to race in the Grand Prix. A little later on, the C4 softs, C3 medium and C2 hard tyre are the 3 compounds for this evening's event. We've got the normal format of the short qualifying and then the 50% race after that. Toby is leading the championship on 99 points. Only 1 point behind is Ollie. He's on 98. 90 points for Kudu. 4th place is F1 Pro. We've seen on our channel quite a few times before. 56 points for him and 51 points for 5th place I Fisher. PJ is 6th. Norris is 7th. Archie 8th. 9th is Phonetic, and Ransdell is in 10th. RB are leading the constructors on 155 points, 146 points for Red Bull, 112 points for McLaren, Ferrari on 91 and Mercedes on 87, Alpine in 6th. The reserves are in 7th. 8th is Williams, 9th is Haas, and Kick-Sauber is 10th. We're actually missing a team off of there, just trying to work out who that is. It's Aston Martin, isn't it? Are we not running Aston Martin cars? Potentially not, or they haven't put in the 11th car. Anyway, there you go. That is the Drivers and Constructors Championship. So we should be with AER for their entirety of the rest of their season. We're here in Miami for this round. I'm just going to quickly grab the calendar, which I should have done earlier on, but I forgot to save it. Here it is. We've got it. So Miami this week, Suzuka the next week. Is a 12-round season, 5 of 12 at the moment. So you will see the last 6 races, 7 including this one. 8 including this one, should I say. So we've got drivers on laps at the moment, a 126.5 for Boss in the Williams, setting that provisional pole time. The game second fastest at the moment, a 127.0, about half a second behind that provisional pole time. Dirty Taff coming around the final corner now in the Scuderia as he jibes into the pits and decides not to complete the lap. Bucko on a lap as well at the moment in the Williams. Is there anyone ahead of him? There could be a Red Bull. There is a Red Bull. Coming down towards the final corner. And he sets a 127.7. McCarthy. Bucko coming up to the line now. It's 4th fastest for him. We have what looks to be an Alpine just about to start their lap. They are. And then there's a Sauber of Sargent behind, just clipping the wall on the outside in that Kick-Sauber. Moves over to the right-hand side, closest route to the line. 6th fastest, 136.4. That would have been either an abandoned lap or a cool-down lap. I think it was abandoned, just seeing as where he was on the racing line going towards turn 1. Wasn't really prepping for another lap by the looks of things. 13th place Archie in the Aston Martin, just coming around the final part of sector 1, turn 7 and 8, and now on the run down towards turn 11 through 9 and 10, which will be swooping right and left-handers. He is on the intermediates at the moment. I wonder why that is. We have seen that in the past, but not obviously in this league, as it's the first one today. The Alpine of Aaron going up towards turn 11 now, braking around the 100-metre board, taking a couple of stabs of the steering wheel to get the car tucked into the apex. And goes off the track there, just trying to open up the corner as much as possible. Was a little bit too greedy and was caught out for it. We'll have to put another lap time in. 6 drivers of the 14 have set lap times. 2 drivers out on their out laps, preparing to start their laps. That's Dirty Taff and Chalky, who's just coming out of the twisty part of turn 16 and down the long back straight, which is DRS just there. Is Aaron just about to start a lap here? I think he is. We'll ride on board with him for the entirety of his lap. So, for anyone wondering, I was a little bit busy today. I was down at IKEA getting my little lad some nursery stuff before he's born in January. So, from next week, we'll have a much more professional setup with an intro with the track map, and we'll have some other graphics that come up on screen. If you're interested to know what that will look like next week, check out last night's video for the F1 Racing League. They were at COTA last night, so we'll be doing America for 2 nights in a row. But if anyone's wondering what that will look like next week, we'll have the logos for AER up on the screen, the socials for how many they've got. I'll make sure to put that up as well, and all the All About Racing socials as well, all up on the screen. We get other things up like pole position predictions, and a couple of other bits. And Aaron making a massive mistake there in turns 14 and 15. He has got a Mercedes just behind him, but he is on a out lap. Will he let Fanatic through? The Haas has just moved over. But yeah, for next week we will just have more time to prep. As I said, just a little bit busy today, so just have the old-fashioned, just normal PlayStation, Xbox kind of stream just for this week. Next week will look a lot nicer than it does today. And anyone watching, I know a few people have done already. Anyone watching who hasn't done so already, make sure you subscribe to the channel. It's much appreciated. Just hit that red button. Trying to hit 500 subscribers by the end of the year. We're doing pretty well in the last week or two, so if you keep up that trajectory, it could easily happen actually. So hitting that subscribe button would be appreciated, and liking the video as well helps me, helps you guys at AER as well. Just gets your video out to more people, and I will in the next week or so be putting a Discord link up on the channel as well. So anyone who just sort of stumbles upon it and thinks, you know, I might want to give AER a try, that's an access point for them. So it does help you to like the videos as well. Just as I said, gives it a bit more of a reach. Fanatic on a lap right now, just going through that left-hander of turn 10, which is a nothing corner in these Formula 1 cars in 2024. Really, everything since the start of this century, there would be an absolutely nothing corner, even into the 90s as well. Fanatic, sorry, I'm going to get that wrong. I know I am. I know my brain, and I'm going to start saying Fanatic and Fanatec out of turn 16 in that silver arrow. Foot flat to the floor as we go down towards the final braking zone. DRS open to give you that extra 20 to 22 kilometres an hour of extra speed, 12 to 13 miles an hour of extra speed, hitting the brakes around 100 metres, getting that car stopped and turned in 60 miles an hour at the apex curb. And powering out through 16 and 17, the final right-hander in its third fastest. It's a second row start for now for Fanatic, but that 1:26.5 set by Boss right at the very start of the session is still the provisional pole time. Ollie on a lap at the moment in the Red Bull. And we'll keep an eye on his lap for the foreseeable. Into turn 12. At the moment he's down in 13th place. It's a purple sector 1 for Ollie. On the raggedy edge at the moment, that Red Bull looking like it's on rails as he comes out of turn 16 and on his way down towards turn 17. Head down and make sure to get the best top speed you can, up to 200 miles an hour and 330 kph as he hits the brakes for turn 15. Or turn 17, sorry, that's where I got confused. Then we go around here for turn 19. Provisional pole, 1:26 dead, and a half a second on the top of Boss's time from the previous attempt. Ollie, as I said, really up there in the championship at the moment, right near Toby. I wonder if Toby's racing today. He's got a different name. No, he isn't. He is racing in the RB, but has not yet set a lap. One of three yet to set a lap. His RB teammate being the other, and the Alpina Chalky, the other third driver, not yet to set a lap. So it'll be interesting to see what Toby can do. 1 point between these two as we get toward the mid part of the season. Toby now coming down towards the final braking zone of turn 17. Let's get our corners right this time around. 14th place for him at the moment. It's a personal best first sector. It's a session best middle sector. He is glowing up purple in that second sector. Would it be a purple third? It's provisional pole at least. No, it wasn't a purple third, but he is on provisional pole, a 10th between the two of them as a car just behind them. Just behind him crosses the line. Archie about to cross the line as well, down or up should I say on his time mode, 4 seconds, 1:27.3. It's slap bang in the middle of the grid, 7th fastest for him as of now. Chalky on a lap as well, so is F1 Pro. Is he going to get anywhere close to his RB teammate as he goes down this long straight, which isn't really a straight, which has turns 9 and 10 in the middle of it? And he lifts off. He's not on a lap at the moment. How long have we got left in the session? 5 minutes. Plenty of time to get in and get back out again for F1 Pro. Chalky coming down to the final corner, just past the Miami Dolphins Hard Rock Stadium on the right hand side, winning 2 Super Bowl championships in 1978 and 79 consecutively. And they also, here's a little gem for you, they didn't lose a single game in those 2 seasons of 78 and 79. The only 2 times they've won the Super Bowl up to this point, ever since the mid-60s. Of course, the Kansas City Chiefs are on top at the moment in the NFL and have been there for some time. I'm a slight NFL fan, so I do have some knowledge of the sport. I'm sure we'll make some little references to touchdowns and end zones and that kind of thing later on in commentating. We do like to do it at Miami. Sargent liking to go off the road at Miami, where he goes past the artificial marina there on the left-hand side, where of course they made the fake water to make it Monaco-esque at Miami, which they could do anyway if it was next to the coast and not in the car park of the Miami Dolphins Stadium. So Sargent not on a lap at the moment. We'll keep an eye out. Dirty Taff is, though, it says he's done a purple middle sector. I have got an app up which do give credible times. Dirty Taff has done a purple middle and first sector. Done a personal best middle and first sector as he comes around the final corner now. It's going to be a 1:28, 1:28.5. He was just a smidge up on his previous attempt. Again, not on a lap right now. Norris Sargent, as we saw him going off the track earlier on. Everyone else in the pits, there's going to be a flurry of cars coming out in a minute, surely, because we've got just over 2 minutes to go, and around half the drivers in the pit lane are just coming out now. So we'll just keep an eye on the next car to start a flying lap. I think it could be this man here. McCarthy has retired, 5th best for him, 1:26.7. Will he stay in 5th place for the start of the GP? There's Aaron Supremo not really doing a supremo first sector, that's for sure. 13th place at the moment and down in the first sector, not setting personal best or session best times. He has still got a full charge of battery, so probably just doing a bit of a cool down lap here and going again in a moment's time. Well, just started a lap in the Haas, obviously in their home race, made that big deal with the Toyota Gazoo Racing Group, which I've started this week calling the Haas Toyotas, which they technically are. Obviously still got that partnership with Ferrari as well. It's more of a technical partnership, using their wind tunnels and what have you for Toyota. McCarthy has left the session, and for some reason it won't let me view people's profiles anymore, maybe because obviously they're not on PlayStation, they're on Xbox. Whale down on their previous attempt. F1 Pro setting a purple first sector and then spins it in the middle, and we'll be starting 14th and last for the start of the race. Dirty Taff, the Welshman, has retired and will be starting 10th at very best, but it doesn't look like F1 Pro will be able to get back round to get a lap in with only 10 seconds left on the clock. So F1 Pro never put a lap under his belt. As Chris says, Callum will be fuming with that. Is he F1 Pro by any chance, Chris? Must be. Well, yeah, I can see in the championship he's fourth at the moment with 56 points. Still a little way back from the race leaders, but plenty of races to go. If anyone else is wondering, the point system's slightly different. 35 points for a win, 30 points for second, 27 for third, 24 for fourth, 22 for fifth. The points go all the way down to 15th, where you get 2 points. There's 1 point up for grabs in this 18-minute session. So who's going to take that? Is it going to be Ollie or Toby or anyone else for that matter? And 1 point for fastest lap, which, spoiler alert, if you don't know already, is going to be removed from the 2025 season. I completely disagree with that. I think they should have changed it and made the fastest lap point for everyone across the grid. That would have made it a much better proposition. And I've always said that from when it was introduced, 5 or 6 years ago, something like that. So Ollie coming into the final corner and doing a bit of turn right to go left there, literally, as he just lost the rear end into the corner. It's going to be a lightning time. It's a 1:25.6. It's provisional pole for Ollie, but for how long? As Toby comes across the line and snatches it away from him. It's pole position for the RB driver, for the leader in the championship. It's 1 extra point to his name as we go into the Miami race in a few moments' time. Sargent's pit, so that is definitely going to be the case. Toby on pole by less than half, by just over half a tenth of a second. So the final order is as follows. Toby will be starting on pole position with that 1:25.6. A 25.6 for Ollie as well, but he starts second. Boss third. Fourth is Archie. Fanatic is fifth. Sixth is Whale. McCarthy is seventh. The Game eighth. Ninth is Aaron. Chalky 10th. 11 is Dirty Taff. 12th is PFC. Sargent 13th. 14th and last is F1 Pro. So we're just about to get ready to get underway. I didn't ask if we have a formation. That's the wrong one. So I'll check myself quickly. We do. Some leagues don't have it, so just like to double check. Don't want to say we're getting ready for a formation lap when we're absolutely not. I'll be back in just a second, guys. Just going to take a quick refreshment. We'll be back for the formation lap. So the formation lap is underway. As you can see, we'll get the tyres up on our screen. A nice mix. One thing I haven't mentioned, I completely forgot to mention, there is a two-stop strategy here. You have to use all three sets of compounds in AER on a Friday. I did have a choice of which league I wanted to do. They do have multiple days, and that's the reason why I chose this one. I thought it would be very interesting from a spectator's perspective to see three different compounds of tyre. I really think that could spice the order up when it comes to the end of the race. Strategy, a massive part to play in this race as well. So just a really, really good reason for why I decided to take this league on rather than any other. No offence to any others who are watching. But yeah, the idea of a three tyres, two-stop mandatory strategy really sort of put my ears up. So that's the reason why. So all the drivers now starting to line up on the grid. It has turned into an RB sandwich, the grid. Dirty Taff there. Got a bit too long in the box. Will be punished for that by having to go back a good few feet. As Archie also has to go back in his box as well. We're waiting for F1 Pro to get to the start, and we go racing with 5 red lights and foot flat to the floor here in AER's podium division, and Ollie gets a very, very good launch and goes up into the lead, but for only but a moment, as Toby now tries to defend to the outside as we go through turns 2 and now 3, and he's back up into the lead once again. Toby, followed by Ollie, followed by Boss Archie, and then Whale in 5th, who is up a place from the start. Then the Game, who's up 2 places. Fanatic, McCarthy, F1 Pro up 5 places, now 6 with that move towards the inside at turn 7. The long waiting left-hander, McCarthy 9th, and Dirty Taff rounding out the top 10. Ollie going for the move down the back straight. No DRS, of course, until the next lap. Only the overtake button when you pull out from the slipstream to use to your advantage, unless you've got a slippier car in a straight line on the setup, as Boss and Archie go side by side almost here, but Archie now being followed by Whale, who is very, very close behind him as we go through the left-hander at turn 16 and then power out towards turn 17 as we go under the interstate. Ollie got himself a tiny bit of breathing space here as Whale pulls out to move to that inside line, the left-hand side, and outbrakes himself, goes deep and loses the place again, and almost loses the place to the McLaren, who had to take avoiding action as Fanatic goes past him now as well. We go on to lap 2. Ollie isn't able to make up any time really so far, and he's only a couple of tenths ahead of Toby as it stands. The 2 championship protagonists glued together as we start lap 2, and DRS is now enabled. There is a 10-second time penalty for Bucko for speeding in the pit lane, having to get a front wing change and going on to the mediums. That's 1 tyre, or 2 tyres now should I say, that he has mandatory done. He's still got to do 1 more mandatory tyre, a mandatory pit stop for the other compound of tyres. I think it's softs he's still got to go to, as we see the Game getting closer to Whale here, but Whale actually now starting to overtake Archie. It's all happening down the back straight towards turn 11. There's 5 cars going into one corner, into that left-hander, and everyone has come out unscathed at the moment. F1 Pro trying to barge his way through past the Aston Martin, but has to slot back behind him just for now as he tries again to the right hand side, looking this way and that way to try and get the move done out of turn 16, and on their way down now, cruising towards turn 17 as we have the Hard Rock Stadium on the left hand side. Is Toby going to go for the move into the next corner? I don't think so, but the Game has moved up into 4th place. And McCarthy is out. And where's he lost it there? I'm not 100% sure at all, but McCarthy is out. We got 1 driver out, 13 now remaining of the 14 that started. Dirty Tap into the pit. Front wing change is in. No, it's just one of those mandatory pit stops. Doing it nice and early, going on to the hard tyre, and then presumably the soft at the end. Chris saying he got disconnected. Thank you for that little bit of information. Appreciate it. Oh, thanks very much. So the AI has retired the car, as I'm getting info in the comments. Much appreciated. F1 Pro up another place here. 6th place from 14th in only 2.5 laps. And a nice move on the outside there, just knowing that he had the space on the outside and a bit of grip as well to go with it. And the freeway as Archie makes a line of his own there, and would have got a warning for track limits as they come out of turn 16 and on their way down towards turn 17. Again, DRS open and the track opens up wider, like Moses parting the sea as we go down towards turn 17. Rear light flashing on F1 Pro's RB, which will give Archie the indication that he's clipping, derating, or as we would just being normal and not some F1 speak, it means just recharging the battery towards the end of the straight or down the straight as well. As you can see, it's not a brake light, it's an indication that the battery is charging you down around 200 horsepower when you're going down any of those straights. Chalky moving up into 8th is Fanatic, taking a pit stop and using one of those mandatory pit stops early, just like Dirty Taff did. So just deciding to get one of those pit stops out the way early. I think we'll see that throughout the season, where drivers just sort of try and do some sort of normal 2-stop, even if you're not supposed to be doing a 2-stop, and some others doing more of a quirky strategy, going in early with the first couple of laps, just getting that one tyre done, and then focusing on more like a one-stop race after that, if you get my point. Here comes F1 Pro with another move. I think this is just a pass back from earlier on. Back past Archie again. Oh, here goes Archie for an optimistic move. Is he going to get this done? Is he going to make this stick as he goes into turn 16? Maybe it's going to be a drag race now, but which one of the two are going to get the DRS? I think they both are, and Whale will be the one that doesn't, as they're both going to part him on either side. Are they going to try? And then F1 Pro tries to go down the middle, but no room for him here. He's just going to try and overtake Whale on the inside and keep in the battle with Archie. It looked like he almost made a bit of a spin there, but he hasn't been able to keep it under control. Ollie into the pits for one of those pit stops on lap 5. We're going to have to keep more of an eye on what tyres everyone started on. He's gone to the hard, so I'm not 100% sure what he's going to finish on. Actually, as he comes out in, I believe it will be 8th place. You might see the Sauber on the right hand side. There he is, just before the camera panned across to keep tabs on Ollie. Toby still leading the race by almost 3 seconds, and there's still this intense battle in the midfield for 4th place as they come out of turn 8, through turns 9 and 10 before that braking zone of turn 11. Here goes F1 Pro again into 5th place, very, very quick. Chris said in the comments he's more like a race winner these days, and he's putting in a very, very good drive at the moment. Certainly a podium drive could be up for grabs here if he carries on the way he's going. These two again fighting. Archie going back into 4th place, Whale taking one of those mandatory pit stops. Careful on the outside of turn number 3. It can be treacherous out there. Chalky passing Whale as well, who's still trundling down the pit lane. Comes out in 9th place, just behind Fanatic, who's only a few seconds up the road from him. Ollie got a 10-second gap ahead of him. Arguably, it's quite good because he's got a lot of free air. Let's just concentrate on getting the lap times in and closing in on the cars ahead of him. Especially these two, as they're fighting tooth and nail. And getting to the point where they're almost throwing everything at it as well, and maybe that kitchen sink will come along with it as well at some point. It's getting very, very feisty indeed between the two of them. Down that 1.2 kilometre back straight, around 3/4 of a mile, and they only need 100 metres of that to get the car stopped for the corner. Out of turn 17, 18 left, 19 to the right, and then going on to lap 7. Here comes Archie. A late move there to try and go to the inside. I think that was more of a move to put off his opponent ahead of him. coming up to the DRS line. You'll see a big speed advantage as we ride on board with the Aston Martin. You can visually see it here to the outside. Both of them are on the hard tyres. F1 Pro gifted him the inside there. Maybe he just didn't want to fight it. Knows they're going to carry on for a while, and sort of a gentleman's agreement at the moment for the two of them, because the fight is going to go on for quite a while, and they've got pit stops to deal with as well, so the dust will settle later on. We'll start to see a clearer picture of how this race is going to pan out, probably more around like lap 2021, where pretty much all of the two stops will have been done by then, would be my guess. Obviously we'll get kind of to know this format a bit better as the weeks go on. I have done a couple of races with two stops before. I keep saying that, 2 stops, 3 different tyres. They are, or can be, quite a gem, to be honest. Keep an eye on who hasn't made a stop yet. For the admins like Chris watching, I'll try and look, former comments come up on the screen. I'll try and get these pit stops up before the end. I do try and do the penalties before the end for admins and things, but we can sort of mix between the two. Here goes F1 Pro again, but I'll try and keep these up for the admins for the end, so just in case someone hasn't done a 2-stop for whatever reason on the last lap, I'll make sure to put this up so we'll know whether they've done a 2-stop or not. Just so you guys know. Mainly a message for Chris there, who I think is still watching. I think that will help him and admins and stewards out, I hope. Here goes Archie again, a bit of deja vu between these two. Slightly risky, moving straight across there by Archie, but there you go. Oh, who was that? F1 Pro, I think he's hit the wall. Has he got wing damage? He's caused a VSC. How many drivers now? I think a lot of them are going to go, oh, I'm going to go for that next pit stop here. This is a bit of a gift. I think the game was quite premature in bringing out that VSC. There was arguably no need, but the drivers won't care, will they? They'll like the fact that they've had this cheap pit stop, one of their 2 they have to do. And I think some of them now have even done their 2. Fanatic has, and Ollie has as well. And people like Toby haven't done any, so who Ollie is really fighting with today, I think the ball's just landed in his court for the moment. Let's just see how he returns it. VSC over, drive-through penalty for, who was that for? Just didn't catch it, bear with me, we'll go back and see who that was for. We've got a 3-second time penalty for Sargent. It's Whale with a drive-through penalty as Ollie goes past into 5th place on F1 Pro. Thanks, Chris. Here goes Toby for one of his 2 pit stops. Where is he going to end up? Is he going to end up behind Ollie, who has already done 2 pit stops? Now that would be catastrophic. That's not going to happen. He's going to come out ahead of Ollie, but how far ahead of Ollie? That is the question, because he's still got to do 1 more pit stop. And the 20-second mark, 16, 15, 13, 12. Look at how that time came down as he came towards turn 1. The ball is certainly in Ollie's court at the moment. 13 seconds between them, with Toby having to still do that second pit stop, with others around as well. The majority of the field still having to do another one. 3 of them are still going to have to do 2. When will they come in? That's the big question we need answers to. F1 Pro, is he going to cause Ollie to have a bit of a headache here? Or will Ollie's fresh tyres help him move forwards? There is only one way to find out. Out of turn 16, DRS will be available for F1 Pro as Boss pits for one of his 2 pit stops. Archie in as well. Boss on to mediums. And Ollie with the fastest lap, a 1:28.3. Still around about 11 or 12 seconds behind Toby Gaming. Fanatic passing Whale, who's still coming down the pit lane, probably be overtaken by Chalky as well. Might be pretty close between him and Chalky as he comes out of the pit lane. There is Chalky just behind him. Here's F1 Pro. Sailing past Ollie, so has caused Ollie a bit of a headache. This was not in the game plan for him whatsoever. Here goes Ollie, thoughts about it. Doesn't want to take too many risks though. He's thinking about the bigger picture, of course. Ollie, once again, trying to make sure he delivers on this move and makes it stick this time around with no refunds. 2 seconds behind Archie. He's only got a handful of corners to gain that 7/10 on F1 Pro, which isn't going to happen. Is he far enough away though for F1 Pro not to bother him this time around at turn 11? DRS open for the RB driver. Time coming down for the RB driver, but not close enough this time. Archie right on the gearbox of the game. Very quickly, decisively moved to the left-hand side. Went past him with ease. It was almost like he was in the outside lane on the M5. Just passing on a late Friday evening. Nice and easy for him there. Ollie still got F1 Pro behind him for company. And F1 Pro now with a 3-second time penalty, obviously pushing to stick with Ollie. And it's cost him. Okay, thanks Chris. Appreciate that. So, lap 13 of 29, I've just been informed that I get to pick driver of the day as well, so that's exciting, so we'll think about that a little later on. And I don't mind either having a bit of input from people watching. I do quite like that, so if anyone will sort of discuss it around lap 25, 26, if you think driver of the day should be, but I do like the viewers to put a sort of their input into who should be driver of the day as well. To be fair, that's what they do in real life, don't they? So, you know, only sticking with the status quo. Under the freeway for these 4. As they come out down the back straight, yellow flags flying. Is that for Bucko? It is. Sargent now retired in the pits, and we're going to get another one straight after him as well. We might do with Bucko, who has now been lapped by this man, Toby Gaming. But this four-way fight between the Game Archie, Ollie and F1 Pro. And Bucko has decided to carry on his pit for a new set of tyres. Everyone has now pitted. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4 cars that would be safe to finish at this point with their mandatory 2 stops. At 14 of 29, we're at about half race distance. And really, we can't call at all who could be in the fight for the win, because a lot of drivers have still got pit stops to make. As Archie makes a move for the podium place, he does have that time penalty attached to his name, 3 seconds, of course. So it's really not over for him at all. Has to start making some distance between him and the car behind, which he certainly hasn't done, as the Game is looking to go past him again. And the Red Bull of Ollie overtaking him as well, which he has done. 4th place for Ollie now as we go on to lap 15. Remember, Ollie has done his 2 pit stops at this point. He can go all the way to the end, drivers around him. I don't think that's the case for them. No, he's the only one. He's the only one in the top 6 who can finish at the moment. It's going to get super interesting between him and Toby, isn't it? Because Ollie is in the net lead as it stands. And really the question is now, how far behind will Toby be once he makes that 2nd pit stop? Unless Ollie makes a mistake, he's not going to come out ahead of him. Toby, I mean. Toby's not going to come out ahead of Ollie. That is for sure. But he is caught up in this battle, which he really doesn't want to be. It's losing him time massively. But the thing I suppose he's got to try and cling on to here is the fact that Toby still has to pit again. I wonder if he knows that. Probably not. May have a good idea of it, because he hasn't seen him on the racetrack for quite some time. Here goes Ollie, past the Game. But his opponent, who he's just overtaken, he's going to get DRS back at him again. I think he even passed him before the DRS line. Oh, who's this as well? Archie trying to go for a big move on the inside of Ollie, but no, it was optimistic. But it was futile. Has to stay in 5th place, and he's got F1 Pro all over the back of him here through turns 5, 6 and 7. So for the last time today, we'll just promote again. I will also be putting in the... Oh, before we talk about that, Chris has noticed something that I haven't. Do you want to swap seats, Chris? Because that's a good spot. I hadn't noticed that. We'll try and get a better shot in a moment of F1 Pro's car. Chris has just informed me that end plate damage on F1 Pro's RB, which he is bang on correct. Chris, maybe we should make you a producer for these streams. We can have you in my ear, not on stream, but I can hear you and you can give me nuggets of information. That'd be good, wouldn't it? But thank you, yeah, F1 Pro with a with a bit of wing damage there. Still can't work out which side. The right side. So left-hand corner is going to be a struggle for the RB driver. I mean, we can have a chat, Chris, if that can work. I mean, that'd be a great help, actually. That would be interesting. Maybe we'll have a chat about that. Anyway, for one last time, I'll just sort of do a bit of a promo for next week as well. I've got a co-commentator who I do on and off do leagues with. Haven't done for a little while, unfortunately. But he wants me to promote his channel as well. So I'll put a link in the description if you want to have a look at some other sort of league racing on other leagues potentially. I'll put his channel underneath. He's going to do the same for me. His name's Lee. Good friend. Known him for 4 or 5 years now, Lee. So if you ever watch back on any of the content, you may have seen some streams from the two of us. Yeah, link will be in the bottom for him. Obviously, keep subscribing to the channel and All About Racing as well. If you're enjoying the content, we've got 3 races now in the week. We've got on Tuesdays F1 Power Grid, F1 Racing League on a Thursday, and AER on a Friday night. All 3 8 o'clock UK time, 9 o'clock Western European time. So keep your eyes out for those 3 all F1 base leagues as well. So please like the videos, especially the guys from tonight. As I said earlier on, if you like the videos, your videos kind of, or this video will have more of a reach and will be seen by more people, which will obviously help you guys out as well, because you might get some more intakes. Obviously, we know this year on F124 it's not been the best in terms of people buying the game, subscriptions, etc., and we just haven't had the player base the last year or 2 really. So liking the video is actually a really good method of getting more drivers into your league, obviously with the standard promoting on Facebook and etc. like that. So would appreciate if you could like the video as well as subscribe to the channel. I promise that'll be the last time we speak about that today. Lap 18 of 29 now. Still, a good few drivers have to do their second pit stop. We've got 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 drivers. Half the grid still yet to do that second pit stop, which should be coming up ASAP. That will be for sure, because if they do it with only 3 or 4 laps to go, it's only going to hurt themselves. So, F1 Pro into the pits. It's his second stop, going on to medium tyres. Front wing change for him, as Chris rightly pointed out. There was end plate damage on the front of his car. He can now race to the end. Drivers must be careful as well. On pit exit, I did see in F1 Racing League last night that someone crossed the white line and got a 10-second penalty, believe it or not, on the exit of the pit lane. So drivers have to be ultra careful when they come out of the pit lane. The game at the moment in a very good position, 5 places up, but he's still got to make that pit stop. And it should be, as I said a lap ago, ASAP at this point. As Toby stays out on another lap, he's going to go to the softs at the end. I would imagine Archie into the pits for his final stop. Oh, didn't get the car slowed down. 10-second penalty for him. They haven't updated that, so EA deciding that 10 seconds is the right penalty. As he comes out, a VSC deployed. Who was that for? That is only just popped up on our screen. That was perfect timing for Archie. He's actually going to get ahead of F1 Pro. Who else is pit in? Ollie is pitting for a third time and DNFing. I am speechless. The man in a chance of a championship title, only a point behind the man leading the race as it stands. Oh no. Now that, Chris says he caused the VSC. I did guess that with the fact of how damaged his car was. He's caused an issue for the Alpine drivers. When his car came out, it just stopped in the fast lane, which made these two stop. Luckily, it was all under the VSC just as they come out of the pits. We are down to 11 drivers. We wait for Dirty Taff and Bucko to overtake Ollie on the timing. Toby is in for the pits for his final stop of the day. Soft tyres, I would presume, for the RB driver for the number 7 car. As he comes out, we're on lap 21. He comes out in third place, I believe, though. It's net first, it certainly is, as we're still waiting for the top two to pit for their final pit stops. And Toby is technically 14 seconds in the lead of this race. A dominant performance so far from that man. Fanatic is only half a second or so off the Aston Martin driver of Archie. He'll have DRS coming out of turn 7, a few hundred metres down the road. So we're coming into the closing stages. As I said earlier on, we will talk about driver of the day in about 3 or 4 laps time, and hopefully we'll get some people throwing their suggestions in on who driver of the day should be. I've got a couple in mind at the moment, but as I said, we'll talk about that a bit later on. Toby with a brilliant launch out of turn 17, getting past the game. Thanks, Chris. You're just your AER is Google, aren't you, for me at the minute? Thank you. You've been a great help today. Toby now 2 seconds behind. 1.5 seconds. Look at that, the time just being eaten away by the RB driver. Yellow flags flying again in the second sector. That's under the bridge, just to the point where we're coming up to now. I think that was Bucko. It was indeed, as he gets away again. So we started the race in an RB sandwich on the grid. We're now in a Williams sandwich as we get into the final moments of the race, about to start lap 23. And we'll have 7 laps to go. Oh, here goes Toby. The long way round. Easy peasy lemon squeezy for him as Boss comes in. It's really a conversation now for who is going to end up on the podium. The game, has he pit twice? No, he hasn't. So he's the last driver now to make that second pit stop. Archie goes through, Fanatic goes through as well, so does F1 Pro. Or does he? No, he does not. Boss comes out just behind Fanatic, who will be going to the end. as we come out of turn 16. F1 Pro not able to close in on Boss. 1 second, sorry if you can hear a rattle in my pocket from the microphone. That's my car keys in my hoodie pocket. Let's chuck those over there. So the game and Archie into the pits. Archie, I think, has already done 2 stops, has he not? Yes, he has. Going for a third for some reason. Maybe he hasn't done all 3 tyres. He's also got a time penalty to serve as well. Maybe another reason why he's doing it at this point. He comes out 23 or so seconds behind the game. 40 seconds or so. Well, it was, now it's just dropped down. He's now 17 seconds ahead of Aaron. So, the top 3 all have time penalties. Toby, though, I think his is really nothing to worry about. It's 3 seconds. It's 3 seconds for all of the top 3. As Fanatic gets closer to the back of F1 Pro. Right, lap 25. So, as I promised, driver of the day. Who have we got on stream? How many have we got on stream at the moment? Got 4. Okay, so my thoughts at the moment, really, at the moment, I've only got 1. I've only got F1 Pro, really. I think the game's going to give it that. I'd arguably say Toby as well, just for how dominant his performance has been. Didn't see the best potential from Ollie, did we really? Didn't see those final pit stops to see where they would end up. So they're really my 2, as Pro makes another move to move up 12 places. It's kind of why I'm picking him. The game put in a good performance as well. So if anyone, I know Chris has been very chatty, he may put an input in. I'm thinking Pro Gaming or the game is Toby Gaming or the game. Are the 3 I'm thinking of right now. We'll make our decision on lap 28, so it gives the guys about 3 or 4 minutes to get their comments in to see what they think as well. It might be completely different to what I think. But Chris, please put your opinion in, mate. It'd be much appreciated. Yeah, good shout. Good shout. Chris, for anyone watching later on who can't see the comments, Chris just said Fanatic. So that is one. Yeah, you're right. Does deserve to be in with a shout, as Chris just said in the comments as well. So I'm going to have a think and come back to you guys in a minute. Okay, so big battle for podium places here is F1 Pro. Tries to go the long way round on the Williams of Boss, as the other Williams gets out the way. There is ghosting on though, so doesn't really need to get out the way at all. Boss stays in 2nd place with a staunch defence. He's not really gaining anything down the straights, is he? The game is actually the one making the games at the moment. Into the final braking zone we start lap 27, which means 3 laps to go. And we'll just have a little check for you, Chris. There you go, mate. Everyone's done their 2-stop strategies. So we are all good. You don't have to worry about any disqualifications or any stewarding of the sort about the pit stop. So that's a nice little extra that you don't have to worry about. Right, so F1 Pro back up into second place. The game as well, also another one, as I said, in for the shout of driver of the day. Another one without penalties will pick up a second place if he stays where he is. Boss again, back through on F1 Pro. It's all very tame at the moment, very respectful, because we're in the very end stages of the race and no one wants to end up in the wall with some egg on their face. And as soon as I said wall, F1 Pro clouted the wall, just trying to turn into the left-hander, maybe had his eyes focused on the apex a little too much. He didn't have one eye on the wall, but I don't think he had damage from that. Yeah, so Chris sort of in the same light as me with the game. We're going to have to make the decision by the end of this lap. That's kind of going to be my rule for this season. By the end of the penultimate lap, we'll make a decision on driver of the day. Oh, here goes the game on the inside at turn 3, which is a flat-out corner. He's now up into second place. He was in net second, regardless, with the penalties around him. But he's now taken that on the racetrack. And is that just me, or is he sliding into turn 7? The rear end on these cars in F124, admittedly, I haven't driven on a wheel 1 second of racing on F124. My spare room used to be my game room, and now it's going to have to be given up for my son, who's on his way. So I haven't really had the chance. I might give it a bit of a go in the living room. But from what I've visually been able to see, the rear end of these cars have been a little happy-go-lucky, haven't they? It was the same in Austin last night with the guys in F1 Racing League. So we're at the end of lap 28 now, and drumroll please, we're going to give it to the game as driver of the day for today. I've got to do it on the penultimate lap. I've made that rule for myself. I don't know why, but I just have. So hopefully he stays where he is, but for the state of play on lap 28, he's had a fantastic race, and we're going to have to give him driver of the day. The McLaren driver taking that reward, and he goes back up into second place on the road for only but a moment. Oh, switchback from him here. It's getting very feisty on the final lap between these two. The game back up into that position. He's really got to keep his eyes on Boss, who's just keep his eyes on not Boss, but Fanatic on this final lap, because he's the other one that doesn't have time penalties. He's going to get past Boss, who's created a buffer for the game. And as Chris says in the comments, it was a great move. It was a fantastic move from him here. He may let Boss go past here, easy peasy, because he's going to focus his mirrors on that Mercedes driver who tries to slot up the inside here. The door's been left open for him, but his game going to try and hold it on the inside at the next corner at turn 12 and 13. He does, and he's going to have DRS off Boss to try and defend. He's going to be looking backwards rather than forwards down this straight, because that is more important to him, as Toby comes around the final couple of corners to take surely another win this season, and he extends his lead in the championship down towards turn 17 with second, third and fourth place. Boss staying in second, the game in third, which will end up with a second place finish for our driver of the day. Boss takes second on the road, but he takes fourth in the end. It's the game finishing second, Fanatic finishing in third, Boss fourth, F1 Pro finishing fifth. You had a fantastic performance. Honourable mention for driver of the day for this man. He was my runner-up, but he had a fantastic effort, but the game taking that podium place. As Chris says, bravo in the comments. as Archie crosses the line, sixth place, and loses the car on purpose by the looks of things, I hope, and destroys the car. Luckily, we don't actually have mechanics fixing cars, because they wouldn't be best pleased, would they? Whale coming down towards the final braking zone. And Aaron as well. We're waiting for the last few as Dirty Taff crosses the line, and we wait for Bucko, who has lost his front wing. Whale crossing the line, 7th place for him. And Aaron Supremo, 8th fastest. And we wait for Bucko in the Williams. He comes into the final corner to round out our first race on All About Racing for this league, and their 5th round of season 6 as Bucko crosses the line in 11th. We were supposed to cut back to our race winner, but we'll cut back to our driver of the day, the game, who finished in 2nd in the end. Fantastic performance. And F1 Pro gets driver of the day from the game. And as I said, that was my honourable mention. So, on to the final order. Toby Gaming taking another win this season. The game finishing in 2nd, and Fanatic rounds out the podium. Boss finished 4th, F1 Pro finishing in 5th. 6th place was Archie, 7th was Whale, 8th was Aaron. Chalky finished in 9th, and Dirty Taff rounded out the top 10. Bucko finished in 11th, and the drivers who did not finish were Ollie, Sargent, McCarthy, who finished 14th and last, and was the first driver to DNF. Well, thank you very much, guys. It's been a pleasure to commentate on the first race for me in AER. It was a fabulous race. And we'll be back next week in Japan, the home of Honda, of course, for the Japanese Grand Prix. And one of my favourite racetracks, is one of everyone's favourite racetracks, the only track of a figure of 8 configuration. So we'll be back next week, same time, same place, 8 o'clock UK time, 9 o'clock Western European time on Friday next week. If you want to watch more content on the channel, we'll be back next Tuesday for F1 Power Grid, and Thursday for F1 Racing League, and then back again for All Elite Racing on a Friday. So thanks very much once again. Keep subscribing to the channel, keep liking the video as well. We'll see you next week, Tuesday, Thursday and Friday, all 8 o'clock next week. Until then, thank you very much and goodbye.